Have you ever noticed God keeps showing you the same thing over and over and over again, but you keep trying to convince yourself it's not what it looks like? You keep praying for peace while ignoring the very thing stealing your peace. And deep down, you know that relationship is draining you. You know that environment is changing you. You know those conversations leave your spirit heavy. You know that habit is slowly destroying your discipline. You know you are not the same person anymore. But instead of listening, you keep delaying. You keep saying, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe it'll change. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe God will fix it. Meanwhile, God has already been showing you the truth. And sometimes the hardest truth to accept is this: God will keep exposing things until you stop worshiping your comfort more than your calling. Some of you are exhausted, not because life is hard, but because your spirit is tired of carrying what God told you to release. That's why you can't fully rest anymore. That's why certain people suddenly feel different. That's why some rooms feel heavy now. That's why your spirit gets unsettled after certain conversations. That's why you feel convicted doing things that used to feel normal. God is waking you up, but waking up is uncomfortable because once God opens your eyes, you can't unsee it. And that's where people struggle, because truth forces decisions. Now you have to admit they were using you. Now you have to admit you ignored the red flags. Now you have to admit you stayed somewhere too long. Now you have to admit you were asking God to bless something He was trying to save you from. That hurts, but healing starts with honesty. And some of you keep asking God, why am I so emotionally drained? Because you keep fighting to hold on to people God has been trying to separate you from. You keep begging for clarity while ignoring the clarity He already gave you. You don't need another sign. You already saw the disrespect. You already felt the distance. You already noticed the manipulation. You already watched the inconsistency. You already felt your spirit warning you. And the dangerous part is, the longer you ignore conviction, the quieter your discernment becomes. That's how people slowly lose themselves. Not all at once, little by little. You start betraying your own boundaries. You start normalizing disrespect. You start silencing your convictions just to keep people comfortable. You start shrinking to avoid losing people, until one day, you wake up and don't even recognize yourself anymore. Listen carefully. Some people only love the version of you that had no boundaries. The healed version of you makes broken people uncomfortable. That's why some people pull away when you start growing. That's why some people get angry when you stop tolerating certain behavior. That's why some people liked you better when you were insecure, available, desperate, and easy to control. But God did not heal you so you could return to what broke you. And some of you keep grieving relationships that were slowly destroying your peace. That closed door hurt, but it saved you. That delay frustrated you, but it protected you. That betrayal crushed you, but it exposed who was never truly for you. One day you're going to realize God was answering your prayer the entire time, just not in the way you expected. Because sometimes the blessing is not what entered your life. Sometimes the blessing is what God removed. And hear me carefully before this ends. Stop ignoring what keeps disturbing your spirit. God is not trying to scare you. He's trying to save you. The question is, how many more warnings do you need before you finally listen?